Hello everyone, welcome to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations tutorial by your very own The Dynamics Guy. Welcome to another episode, and today we'll be looking at creating custom fields. Is it possible to have custom and personalized new fields in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations? You have the answer. Yes, it is possible, and we'll be exploring it now. So in our system, we would be using an example from customers table, and we will navigate to accounts receivable, customers, and all customers. So here we are going to be creating a new field on the customer form. I'll click on the customer, Contoso Retail San Diego for an example. Here we have all standard fields in the General Fast tab. And so if we want to create new fields, aside the standard fields that already exist, all we need to do is to right click and click on personalize upper group, which is this upper aspect of the form, the General Fast tab, and we click on add a field. So we have a pop-up with a list of standard fields where you have the ones that are visible and the ones that are not there, which you can insert. But this is not what we want to do. We want to create new fields, so to click on create new field. Okay, here we select the table name, which is all tables that are bound to the form. So we'll select the customers table, and on our name prefix, we'll select the field, the name of the field that would be stored on the table. So this is not the this is different from what you'll be seeing on the user interface. So we would take for an example, we want to create a customer tag. So we would use that as an example and we would type customer tag without space. Note that we don't have a space in between. This is because this is the name of the field on the table itself. That will be stored on the database. Okay, so we select type text, and here this is the name that will be visible on the UI, which is the label. So we can add space to the label. So we'll call this customer tag. On the help text description text box, you can describe an help text that would give more information about this field. So for this, I will just type category of customer, and I'll just say ID tag category of customer. So I'll put this in the ID before, so it makes some kind of sense. Okay, so tag ID for the category of customer. Okay, so we have the length of the text as the number of text or characters that the field should accept. The default there is 10, so we'll leave it at 10. And here we have this prompt that says the action will modify the cost table, which is the name of the table customers. Okay, so we'll allow that, yes. And so just in some seconds, we have our field, which is added to the list of columns, and we can now, is already selected, as you can see. So it's selected already. What we'll do is to click on update, and this imports the field to our user interface. As you can see, we now have the customer tag, but note it is uneditable. It is not editable now. And once you have custom fields like that, you see this view, which is as a result of save views feature that is enabled on this application. So if you have to personalize fields like this, you should enable the save views feature. So we'll save this view as a new view. For more tutorial about save view feature, just look at other YouTube videos on my channel. And so we've saved that view, and what we need to do is to refresh the browser. So refreshing the browser would would allow the changes become visible to the form. So if we go back to the customer form, we would see now that this field customer tags is now editable and we can type in our values. So I'll just type in a customer tag, let's say number 011, and I'll save this. So if I exit this page and I go back into it, we would see that our values 011 is already stored on the field customer tag. Okay, if I refresh the browser, just as I will do now, if we go back into the customer form, the values will still be there, which we inputted 011 before, and the customer tag will still be visible. So we'll just go into the customer. As you can see, we still have the 011 value. Okay, so now what we need to do is we have added the values to the customer field, to the customer tag field on the customer form. What we need to do as well is to also bound this field to the entity. We have data entities which actually present values or data that are stored on forms on Excel or for import on DIXF actions that are import or export. So we need to bind this field to the entity. Okay, so where we can do this is that we need to navigate to custom fields, select the cost table, which is already visible once you add a new field to the table. It's visible here. Then we click on edit, extend the entities fast tab, and so we see all the entities that are bound to that table, cost table. So we would select the entities we want to bound this field to, and as you can see, we have a whole list of them. Some of these entities are obsolete, such as the customer details V1. So we'll just use the V2 and V3 versions. So we'll click on enabled, select enable on these entities. Okay, and once we've done that, we'll click on apply changes. So wait a couple of seconds and we get a prompt. Okay, so we get a prompt that changes have been added to the field definitions. Okay, so what we need to do now, this means that once we do an export of any of these entities, these fields and whatever values have been stored in them would also be exported along other standard fields. Okay, all right. So for example, if you are going to be using as well Excel Workbook Designer open, we are going to be opening this form or in Excel to see all standard fields and values that are stored in them. We would also see the customer tag field. This is because we've mapped the values, the field to the entity. Okay, so that's the essence of mapping the field to the entity, so we'd see them and be able to use the values in when we export. Okay, so another thing we'd also want to explore is, for example, we created a field with text. If you want to create a new field, with options, we call them pick list, where we can select from numerous options. Okay, so we click on create new field just like we did before, and we select a table name, which is we select customer table, which we used previously, and let's call this customer type. Note that we don't have a space in between, and we select pick list. Observe that I didn't spell the customer type correctly on the name prefix. That was deliberate, and I'll also do that on the label. So we'll see how we can update if there was an error later, even after creating the field. So I will go in on the values tab below section and input the options I want to add So I can have as many options as I want to. So I would add cash customer and credit customer as options. So those are my values for this pick list. I can also move them in order. Probably I want cash customer to come up, so I'll move it up. Okay, this is nice. So I'll click on save. Okay. So this field would also be added to. I can also input the help text describing what I want this field, what this field is about, or a guide or something. So I'll just leave that and click on save. Now I'll apply this modification. So we see that the customer type has also been added to the columns available, and now we have it on the field, on the form, and we'll just save our previous view because of the new changes that was made, so that by the time we come back to this form, we'll be able to see all these fields and we don't have to import them again. Add them, insert them again on the form. So we'll refresh our browser, so we see, so the changes are actually visible. Okay, let's refresh in the browser, and by the time we will navigate back to the form, so when we navigate back to the form, we would see navigate back to the form, and you can see that custom type field is editable. Note that I didn't spell type correctly, and we'll still update that. But you can see from when I select the drop down, you can see the list and the values are there: cash customer, credit customer. Okay. So I'll select cash customer and save this. So navigate back to our custom fields where we applied where we bound these fields to the entities. Okay, so we'll click on our new field which we just created, and we'll select. You can see on the label field we can actually edit the label. Of course, we can't edit the name prefix which has been stored already in the database, but we can edit the label. This was also I want to show you. So by coming here, you could just do the edit the label the way you want, and you can then select the tables and entities you want to bind this field to, the entities rather, and click on apply changes. Okay, you click on save and the changes have been applied. So you could use this field in export, import, or when you open this using any of these entities, probably in Excel Workbook Designer or DIXF, you can see these new fields and you could work with them. Okay, this is not only visible on one customer form, so you click on any other customer, you also see the field, so it's actually on the form and not on a particular record. Okay, so as you can see, values are visible on the customer type. As you can see, the customer type has been renamed, and we have the customer tag with our values. You can see the description, the text on the customer tag. So this is how you create custom fields. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you. You stay tuned for next episodes. I hope you have learned a lot. Thank you, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button.